on Sunday, man? I know you're nervous for the Rams, but you got to be a little enthusiastic after being there.
Bro, that game atmosphere was ridiculous. The energy, the electricity. That place was rocking. Anyone was there, and a lot of the Super Buck fans were there too. The Buck.
Tampa Tones. We are joined by lead goon tonight, host of the Pat and Aaron show of WDAE, Pat Donovan. And it sounds like Stunna is bumbling a little bit. Going to put him on mute for a second until that gets a little clear. But we're joined by Pat Donovan.
It looks like Stunna's hanging out with Cheech and Chong in a car with the windows up or something over there.
It does look like we got a little...
No, my camera's broke.
We are back. Football is here. Buccaneers game week. Could you believe it? Feels like a damn dream, man. We are back, baby. Woo! Fired up, ready to roll on this football Sunday here. I'm calling it a football Sunday because we don't get the Bucs next Sunday. We get them on Saturday. And we're here to chat a little bit about that game and so much more. But let's fucking go. Let's fucking bake. Put down your fucking cell phones and join us for some football talk. I'm fired up, J-Lo. I don't know about you, but it's a great Sunday to be alive, and it's a great Sunday to talk some football, especially with Christopher Cole. Our guy says, morning, fellas. Morning, Chris.
Good morning. Happy Sunday, man. Sunday fun day. We're getting really close, man. Can't wait to see that first preseason game. You know, I'm just itching for it so bad, you know. I'm waking up, I'm like, oh, man, we're getting closer and closer. So let's fucking go, bro.
I'm itching like a junkie right now, a football junkie, that is, you know, nothing apparent other than that, but we'll get into it. And apologies to the Lord on a Sunday for dropping so much swears, but damn it, I'm ready to roll. I'm ready to hear fire the damn cannons, touchdown Tampa Bay, Gene Deckerhoff calling the game here. I'm ready for it all, J-Lo. It's a great J-Lo and Tampa Tones here on the Buccaneers, and we're going to get into a lot of things, especially, though, rookies stealing the spotlight early on in training camp. We've had plenty of rookies take the world by storm. A couple of UDFAs, a couple friends of the shows that have been on the program, actually, and Latrell Jones and Tyreek Funderburg. So, J-Lo, we're going to break it all down here and so much more today with you, with me, and whoever else might join. Sunday, fun day football. You got it, Lucky Lucy. We always appreciate you to see you around in the chats. We do love that. Went to Friday's training camp. So excited to see McMillan's hands in action. And we'll get right to it, J-Lo. Rookies making moves. McMillan, one of these rookies that are getting a lot of hype. Honestly, there's not really a rookie in this Buccaneers draft class that isn't getting hyped up to this point. I know you have your lessers like Devin Colps and Kleins that were later picks, but even them, J-Lo, they're still receiving the love. They're still receiving the praise. You ask anyone who breaks down the Bucs, who looks into the Buccaneers for a living, that is. You know, me and you do it for fun, and we love doing this. But, you know, we're here, J-Lo and Tones on the Buccaneers. But you ask anyone who writes articles in that sort of nature, McMillan is a man who has a chance to have a very, 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 very high-end NFL career.
No, McMillan, I really like what that kid's doing. I mean, he's getting talked about a lot at training camp. Even the Bucs social media is putting him out there, you know, showing how much he's crushing it for the most part. And then Devin Culp, I mean, you can't go wrong with these Husky players, man. These guys are just playmakers. You know, Culp, you know, he had a great practice the other day, I believe. I mean,
I heard he burned somebody for a long touchdown last week. I forget who he burnt, but I heard he got past somebody, and I heard it was a pretty good defender as well.
I mean, you know, when you got a speedy tight end who can, you know, break away and create separation, I'm all for it. You know, I'm not sure how his blocking is, but we'll find out, you know, this preseason what he's really made of. But back to McMillan, this guy's looking like a stud. I mean, pretty much he's going to be playing more inside, but he knows how to get open. And who, you know, I know Godwin's going to play inside, but you know what I mean. They're going to have some plays for him. You know, leave it up to Liam Cohen to put together a good receiving core, you know, for the most part.
I mean, there might not be a better, definitely not in the NFC South, but J-Lo, in the NFC in general, when it's all said and done, how are you going to stack somebody else's wide receiver core against Mike Evans, Chris Godwin, big play Trey Palmer, and then you got rookie McMillan, and you got some other wide receivers that could come on strong as well, like a UDFA Latrell Jones, friend of the programs, or Rakim Jarrett has had a pretty decent camp from last year. So J-Lo, I find it hard to believe, and I'm looking around at not only teams, I'm looking at the best of the NFC. I'm looking at Green Bay, I'm looking at Detroit, I'm looking at Dallas, I'm looking at Philadelphia, and none of these wide receiver cores come close to lining up with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. And that's not bias, that's just a fact. No one in the NFC has the top two like Evans and a Godwin. And then, we got some young stud punchers in there like Trey Palmer and like a McMillan. Because you look at Green Bay, they got a couple nice young guys, nothing crazy though. You look at Detroit, it's Armon St. Brown and what Army. You look at the Eagles, it's Bubble Guts McGee, who has a terrible attitude, and then you got Devontae. So, they got a couple good kids over there as well. But Dallas, their wide receiver core surely as hell ain't what it used to be, right? Michael Gallup's not even on the team anymore, and CD
Tired.
CD Lamb's holding out for money. So, J-Lo, 49ers, Ayuk and Samuel, but again, Ayuk will even be there to begin the year, and Debo Samuel never seems to stay healthy on the field. Again, I'm putting my Tampa Bay Buccaneers are the best. Bud Cannibalist says the Bears, but Keenan Allen, he's always hurt. It's his first year in Chicago as well. DJ Moore, but that is a good point, Bud. They do have a good receiving room. J-Lo, what say you?
I mean, the Bears got a pretty strong receiving core, but the thing is, Keenan Allen's not consistent. He can't stay healthy. He gets hurt. Roman Dunze, he's a rookie. We'll see what he's got. And we know what DJ Moore can do, but can he build chemistry with Caleb Williams, which will remain to be seen. As far as the Niners go, Ricky Pearsall, I really like him being over there. I think he's going to be a good playmaker if he stays healthy. Brandon Ayuk is doing what he's doing, whatever, sit out. At the end of the day, it's going to kind of ruin their momentum.
It's a new thing. It's being a punk. That's what I call it. But,
I mean, you got these prima donnas that want to get paid. You got CD Lamb. I mean, he's deserving of the money, but you got to go out there and play and keep playing,
Look at Wirfs. He was limited, but he was still out there.
Exactly. I mean, but if you look at our roster, our receiving core, there's no prima donnas on our team. You got Mike, who's going to go out there and do what he does best. Go make plays and be one of the best receivers in the NFL. I don't care what anybody says. I'll pick Mike over anybody when it comes to the receivers. And then Chris Godwin, another one. He does his job. I think he's finally getting back to the Chris Godwin we saw in 21. And then you got these two young studs, in McMillan and Trey Palmer. And, you got to give Jason Licht credit. He drafted all four of those receivers. So, the guy is putting together a strong receiving core, that I think is very underrated. Do I say they're the best? They're one of the best. I'll put one of the best, just to be fair to the other teams that have the receiving core, like the Bears, just to me, I feel.
And J-Lo, to your point as well, it wasn't long ago, you said 2021, people at that time were really serious of who they'd rather have, Evans and Godwin, and they kind of alternated games, big game after big game. Now, Evans the past year or two kind of broke himself from that pack and obviously is a clear-cut number one here. But J-Lo, there was a 2-3 year period in Tampa where it was literally Godwin, Evans switching off, and who would be the one to have the prolific game that day. That was something to see, and I do think I agree with you. I think between offensive play calling and health, both related in one, I think Godwin is more of the receiver that we're used to seeing. And he didn't even have that bad of a year last year. He still went over 1,000 yards, had a rushing touchdown when it mattered most against Carolina to seal that game. So, J-Lo, although a down, quote-unquote, down year for Godwin, that would be a hell of a year for a lot of wide receivers around the league.
Oh, absolutely. It's never easy to come out from an injury he suffered. I mean, we're about almost 2 or 3 years past this, but still, I mean, that's an injury that doesn't heal right away. Sometimes you don't run the same, and then you put him outside last year. You started keeping him inside where he belongs, but my guess was they were trying to keep him safe from getting injured, or they were just trying something different. But now we know Godwin's going to go back to where he played best at, and that was in the slot. And he's going to be a key contributor. I think him and Baker are going to have a great connection this year. Not taking away from Mike Evans. I think Evans is still going to make his plays and do his thing. But I think we're going to see more Godwin getting the ball more. That way, you can create more open spaces for these other for these other young players, for Trey Palmer and Mitt Mullen.
Yeah, and I couldn't agree with you more as we are live here on the Buccaneers, the great J-Lo and Tampa Tones on a Sunday fun day here. Spread the love. We got more love coming in the chat. Christopher Cole, FSU's linebacker, he's talking about Deloach. He's had an incredible camp. He's looking really good. J-Lo, I know you're a Gators guy, but man, if we go in the middle, I'd be very confident between practice squad and active roster if our middle linebackers consist of Levante David, KJ Britt, Servace Dennis, JJ Russell, and Deloach. I think that's a really good five right there. And I think that's five deep that not only are a good five, but you have a star in Levante David, and then you got four quote unquote younger guys ready to roll. And that's always a good thing in the front seven.
Agreed. You can never have enough depth at any position on this team. Because if I say Dennis, he sat out of practice yesterday, so I don't know what's going on with him. Hopefully,
and he missed some games last year.
Exactly. So you bring in a guy like, J.J. Russell, you got KJ Britt, who I think he's on a whole nother level right now. I think KJ Britt's going to have a breakout season. I think he's the one that other people are sleeping on because, he sat, behind as a special teamer. But this kid's special. Something about KJ Britt, if he stays healthy, hopefully this man's going to be a contributor and be a good, a good role model in that locker room for those younger players like Deloach, and then also J.J. Russell. And Servace Dennis, if he could just stay healthy, man, just stay healthy, I think he's going to be something special too.
You could tell he's a smart football brain, Servace Dennis. You could tell he's very smart.
And he's a sack artist. He had 7 sets his last year at Pittsburgh, when he was teaming up with Glajakansi. So this kid, if he stays healthy, I think he could be a great linebacker too. Eventually, Levante David, you never know when he's going to hang up the cleats, so you got to have the next man up.
It's like a year-to-year thing at this point,
But in the meantime, Levante is still playing at a high level. I mean, we're so lucky to have him on that team, in the locker room. God bless that man for sticking around, keeping it going.
Love that motherfucker. I mean, that guy should be Canton bound, probably won't be. And I say that because you get your haters, your media, your losers, and your suckers that have always painted bad pictures of Buccaneers players and really gave us bad names for decades on decades. And, they used to call us the Yucks. They hated us. Even when we got Brady, all they could talk about was how Brady and Bruce Arians won't mesh, how Antonio Brown, Leonard Fournette, those type of players will muck things up here. What the hell did we do? We win a Super Bowl, and what happened? The media got worse on us the next year. They continued to hate us worse and worse as time went on. So Bucs are always against an uphill battle, and that's why I partly think, sadly, Levante David is left short out of the Hall of Fame, because we do have ignorant people that are the ones who make that decision at times. And, there's no doubt that they're going to slight a guy like Levante David just because he played in Tampa Bay, J-Lo. Just because he played in Tampa Bay, some people are not going to give him his chance, and to me, that's a pathetic thing to do.
Oh, of course. I mean, they're always gonna hate on us, and that's fine. Deep down, we Buccaneer fans, we know that Levante Davis is a first ballot Hall of Famer, beyond a shadow of a doubt. He's got a Super Bowl ring. I mean, he to me, I feel like he's had a better career than Luke Kuechly. People want to compare Luke Kuechly to him and say, "Oh, Luke Kuechly's a first ballot Hall of Famer." Well, you know what? If he's first ballot Hall of Fame, then so is Levante David. To me, I would take David over that man anytime, any day. Like I said.
And no offense to Luke. I mean, he was a hell of a player. I'm not saying he wasn't, but in their short periods of time, Levante matches production. And no offense, Levante is just outdoing him in his career at this point, because he's almost played double the amount of times that Levante's played double the amount of years at this point almost that Kuechly has. But even if you go Kuechly's years just to Levante's years that range Kuechly's span, Levante's outperform him. And we are joined by Olivia Scordato, as she says, good morning, fellas. Great friend of the show's Richard Tareka. Good morning, Buccaneers. Good morning to you. Bud Cannibalist, getting back to our other arguments, as maybe Vikings, J.J. Addison, and Osborne. That would have been a good one. Osborne actually ended up in New England, so New England getting some much-needed wide receiver help. J-Lo, I feel like every year when you look at the Patriots, it's like man, they could use a wide receiver. Literally every year you look at their depth chart, it's like they could use a damn wide receiver. And then our friend Bud says Levante David first ballot. Again, I think he should be. I don't think they give it to him. I just don't.
He'll end up waiting like Ronnie Barber did, waiting a few years before finally he gets his name called. He will be in the Hall of Fame, but unfortunately, the first ballot, I just don't see the people voting on that, giving him that. And that's fine. And that's fine. At the end of the day, right now, he's focused on trying to win another championship, and that's where his mindset is at right now.
Literally, championship for him is first.
That's what this whole team is. Todd Bowles made it known. When you watch that video he did talking with the players, he made it known that we are playing for a Super Bowl. We're not playing for another division. And I think this team is locked in on that. And Levante Davis is one of the first one that's locked in. He may seem quiet, but really I know he's got a voice in that locker room, especially in that defensive group. So, Devin White.
I'm going to bring something up right now since Christopher mentioned Devin White and we're talking about Levante David. You know what pisses me off? And this is a great mug. Great friend of mine, former podcast partner, Billy Granado, Coach Granado. He got me a Barstool mug. He knows I'm a big Bucs fan. So the year the Bucs won the Super Bowl, he was great enough to get me this beautiful mug. And it's a great mug, beautiful mug, probably my favorite mug. It's really awesome. But the thing where Barstool fucks up, because again, outside of Stephen Chi, they probably don't really understand too much of the core Bucs. They put great people on there, right? You got Mike Evans, awesome to put on there. You get Gronk and Brady, well-deserved. You get JPP, and then you know who they put on the pirate ship? Devin White over Levante David. To me, that was a pivotal mistake. I know that's when Devin White was riding the highest of highs, but just thought I'd share that fun little story. Every time I look at the cup, I'm like, man, it's such a lovely cup, but J-Lo, it'd be a little bit better if Levante was on there. As Christopher Cole says, Devin White is going to have a battle to even make the Eagles roster. Devin White is a guy who deserves his praise for helping us win the Super Bowl, no doubt about it. 2019, his rookie season, he had a lot of uphill things to climb. He had the tonsillitis, if you remember that. He had to have his tonsils taken out, missed a little bit of time over that, got banged up elsewhere, helped out immensely in some games in 19. In 2020, really grew into his own. And then 2021, halfway through that year, something happened, and J-Lo, Devin White was never able to make it up, and now apparently he's batting for an Eagles roster spot. But not only that, I think guys like JJ and KJ, the young guns, Servace, and even Deloach, the rookie linebacker we mentioned, I think they're going to provide a spark defensively. Devin White was boom or bust last year, and the year before, and the year before. Either Devin White would make a huge play, or he would literally get toasted and embarrassed.
Devin White is what it is. He helped us win a Super Bowl. I think his best year was 2020, if you ask me. Then he just kind of fell off the wagon, and then he let the money get to his head. He let the wrong people get to his head, thinking that that he is the best. And turned out he wasn't. He was inconsistent. And the fact that he was crying about it, want to be traded, and all that, and the Eagle fans have fun. Have fun with him. Because I guarantee it's going to be short-lived when he pisses off the Eagle fans, and they're going to make it 10 times worse than what we did here in Tampa. And yeah, he is going to compete for a roster spot. I think he'll probably make it. But him the starter, nah. They got way too much talent in that linebacker room. I think they got a Georgia guy there who I think's a stud, Nakobe Dean. They got who else? They brought in somebody else too. But long story short, Devin White is going to slide right down that roster and just be a special teamer and maybe learn how to play the game better. That's the only way these players get better. You got to bench them. You got to put them on special teams and teach them how to be better. And if they can't get past that, then it's not meant to be.
Yeah, and we're here with the great J-Lo. We're getting some great text into the show. Friend of the show, Timmy Crowley, texted in. Awesome guy. He's listening. He says, thanks for giving me something to listen to on the drive back. We appreciate it. Timmy the C actually getting married this fall, so he's lucky I don't have to miss a Bucs game. No, I'm kidding. I love the kid, and he's tuned in. We got David Ferrara, Tampa's realtor. He's joined into the show as well. He's really a great one. Jeff Grabinski on Facebook. He's tuned in live. He's really listening. Pop says, can you name a former Buck that like Devin White showed so much promise. He texted into the show and then shit the bed thinking Josh Freeman. Freeman's a good choice. It's our guy Neil. He says, yes, sir. Yes, sir. What it do? That's our guy right there. Neil, you know what to do, right? You always finish the job. You say, hit that like button, subscribe, and, get notified when we go live. So turn that notification bell on, subscribe, and hit that like button. That helps us out greatly. Oh, we got a Bengals fan in here, Brian Crook. Who dey? Oh, my Lord. I knew this would be happening. It's J-Lo. We're not even into the game yet, and we got who dey love. We got Bengals love.
Well, welcome. They can join the program, I guess. I mean, appreciate you watching, hearing what we got to say. But for the most part, your Bengals, you got a lot going on, man. You're going to have to, hopefully Joe Burrow stays healthy for you.
Yeah, for real. So, but back to Pops' question. And then we got a ton of great comments. But yeah, Brian Crook's a good guy. Just a little, he's a Florida Panthers fan, so he's riding his highs right now. He's enjoying himself. They won it all, much deserved. But now it's football season. I do think Joe Burrow is going to have a hell of a season. I can't lie there. I think Joe Burrow is going to have a little bit of a revenge tour this year. I think he's going to be incredible in there. And
Shady.
Yeah, he looks like he got dipped in yellow crane, but that's something different. As Neil says, hit that like button. But J-Lo, we're each going to name a guy quick. Devin White and Josh Freeman, Pops named. If there was a buck I'm going to go with Mike Williams. Rest in peace to the late, great Mike Williams, J-Lo. But that was a guy whose first year or two here really lit the world on fire and then kind of just cooled off and poof. Before that, he was just not a Buccaneer anymore. And I could even say the same about Michael Clayton. I'll go with Michael Clayton and Mike Williams as two nominees for Buccaneers that started off incredible, set the world on fire. It was amazing to watch. I mean, both of these guys made Sports Center top 10 plays. And before you know it, J-Lo, they were not only not Buccaneers anymore, but they were out of the NFL. I remember Michael Clayton went to the Giants and became a blocking wide receiver. He got himself a ring, so kudos to him. But then you never really heard him make plays. And Mike Williams, again, rest in peace, loved the guy of his jersey, the late, great M. Will. But one of those guys that started incredible and kind of petered out real quick.
Oh, I got a couple for you.
Uh-oh. I mean, we are Bucs fans, so this is a question that there's a lot of material
on. Give me Kellen Winslow. I thought he was off to a hot start, and then he just kind of fell off the wagon. And then I'll give you this one, Doug Martin, the muscle hamster. I thought he was going to be the best back we ever had in Buccaneer history, and he just fell off the wagon. He got paid, made dumb decisions, and he was never the same again.
Yeah, I think he got suspended and shit as well. And Kellen Winslow, I agree with you on Doug Martin. Kellen Winslow, his career was interesting because he started in Cleveland, came to Tampa, and I think he would have been better if he was all right, but he should have made the playoffs that year in 2010 when the frickin' referees and Lions Bucs called offensive pass interference on Kellen Winslow in the end zone to cost us that game. We ended up not making the playoffs because we went 10-6. So did the Packers, so did the Giants. They both made the playoffs over that. But no, two pretty good candidates there as well. We got Cleve and me, Joey Nip, saying hello from Cleveland after enjoying an amazing SummerSlam. J-Lo, this guy actually met CeCe Sabathia last night as well, along with former MLB player Chris Young. I know you definitely know CeCe Sabathia, so it seems like the stars are... Yeah, big man, Captain Crunch, he used to eat a whole box a morning.
Oh, yeah, CeCe Sabathia wasn't really liked over here in Tampa. I know him, Carl Crawford, and some of the other guys, they hated CeCe Sabathia. I mean, hats off to a good career he had because he was a really good pitcher, I felt like. But, woof, he was not loved down here by the Rays.
And Christopher Cole brings up a good point. He brings up another legacy. It's one of those things in the NFL where you're starting to hear a lot of juniors, a lot of kids' names as well. And Jeremiah Trotter Jr., it seems like just yesterday his dad was taking the league a storm. It seems like just yesterday his dad was very much so making moves in the NFL. And now, they got him as well. So it's going to be interesting to see there. I mean, they got a ton of bodies between the two linebacker spots. And, Jalix Hunt as well could pay some dividends. But, yeah, Jeremiah Trotter Jr., another name to watch. Hey, we got Fuck Dirty Dom coming in from Bud Cannabis.
Hey, leave Dirty Dom alone. He's in the best.
Dirty Dom's a loser. That he's a loser.
He's the best. He is the best heel in WWE right now. Best heel. I'll agree with anybody on that one.
he is a good heel, but not a fan of his. But
fair enough.
If the O-line can play better and the defense plays slightly better, then Bengals can make a run easily. I wouldn't say easily, but they surely could make a run. They have the talent. But J-Lo, I don't think anything comes easy out of that division. You got Baltimore, you got Cleveland, you got Pittsburgh. And Pittsburgh's always tough. Cleveland's always tough these days, and Baltimore's always tough. So, yeah, they can make a run, but I would take away the word easily personally.
Yeah, that's a little strong term there. Not easily. You're not even looking in the AFC who else they got to deal with outside the division. You got the Bills, who still have Josh Allen, who can make plays. You got the New York Jets, if everyone stays healthy. You got the Dolphins. The AFC is stacked full of teams, and I would hate to be in the AFC right now. So the word easily is a little too strong. I have to agree with you on that one.
Kenyatta Walker's another great choice for a Buck who started off incredible and fell off, and he was a Gator. And that was the time where the Bucks just had Gators on Rydell Anthony, Jacquez Green, Kenyatta Walker. Walker was one of the ones that did stick around to win a Super Bowl here, but J-Lo at one point was looking like a top-of-the-league lineman, then kind of fell off quick. Neil Else is popping pills. I think he's referring to former Bucks QB. We won't name names, but we were talking about him earlier. But that's a great point by Neil. Some of these guys get into the league and they can't handle themselves, and it's a sad thing. But when you're making millions, you got to be a little bit smarter. You got to be a little bit brighter, a little bit more crisp on the activities that you might do in the NFL. Neil's right. 19 people watching, 6 likes. What the hell's that? Come on. Get that like up. Get the like up. Hit the like button. It don't cost you anything besides the second of your life. So
come on, Bengals fan. Give us a like at least. Coño. Come on.
Bud saying Dom being this good at heel just makes me believe even more Eddie is his real dad. Damn. That's a great one. Wrestling fans know that greatly. Liv can do better than Dom, like me, LOL. Yeah, I mean, sure, I think a lot of things are better than Dirty Dom. But, whether it's Dirty Dom or the Buccaneers, we are here live on the Buccaneers. J-Lo, I want to get to friend of the show's incredible UDFA rookie making moves, making headways. He was on the show, I think, about a month ago, maybe a little over a month ago. Actually, maybe 2 months. Damn, the summer's flying. Yeah, he joined us beginning of June, so about 2 months ago now. Buccaneers cornerback Tyreek Funderburk, undrafted free agent out of Appalachian State, joined the program, and we knew right then and there. We dug in. We did our film studies. We did our research on his statistics. We read up on many, many words that many people from coaches to other players to commentators have studied him and said about him. And we knew he had potential then, J-Lo, and now friend of the show, Tyreek Funderburk, is putting it together so tremendously that he has a legit chance to make the 54-man active roster, 53-man. I know it's one or the other, but now you get the game day call-up or whatever, so it's complicated. But he has a chance to make the active roster nonetheless, J-Lo.
Not just make the roster, you might just see the field. I mean, depending how our corners stay healthy, you might see a rookie in there, starting on the other side of either Dean or CJ. Zach McCollum. I mean, because injuries happen, unfortunately, and Dean hasn't really played a full season healthy. So you might see Funderburk in on an outside corner, or however they want to use him. And he's been playing pretty well in training camp. I think he broke a pass off from Mike Evans. So he's got a golden opportunity not only to make the roster, but to see the field at an early time right now.
Yeah, that's very much so important as well. And we are rolling here on the Buccaneers and Bucks practice. They had a night practice this week, and now they're kind of knifing their way into this Bengals week with practicing and whatnot, J-Lo. And Tyreek Funderburk yesterday, great friend of the show's Michael Plus from Real Bucks Talk was there. And yesterday they had their typical daytime Saturday practice when they have them this time of year. And Funderburk was making pass breakups, and he was making plays out there, and guys like Dr. Plus from Real Bucks Talk were shouting him out. JC Allen was shouting him out. So He's in really good standing, and we're going to keep our eyes on friend of the program's Tyreek Funderburk. Another good one, Latrell Jones, undrafted free agent wide receiver from Southern Miss. It seems like, J-Lo, Buccaneers are having him potentially return some kicks or at least show it in practice and training camp to see what he has. Thoughts on that? And I always told UDFAs when I have a chance to talk to him, hey, do your best at your position, obviously, but a great way to make the roster is special teams as a rook. If Latrell Jones has a chance, maybe not even to make the roster, but just stick around on the practice squad, which would be lovely as well. I think special teams attributions are a great way to do that. So it's refreshing seeing him get some time spent on kickoffs.
No, I couldn't agree more. I mean, that's what it's looking like. He's looking like he's got a good shot at being possibly the kick returner, punt returner. He's going to get his opportunities, hopefully, in the preseason games. I'm looking forward to see how he does. I mean, for one thing, he, from talking to him on the show not too long ago, he seems like he's got a great mind, just an awesome personality, and that's another thing you got to look into. Like Jason Light says, we want the right guys here, and he seems like one of them. And if he goes out there and balls out in the preseason, he could very well have a roster spot, especially with, I believe, Ryan Williams. He's been on the sideline the past 2 or 3 practices. I know they were hyping him up, so this is his chance to go in there and make a case for himself. And I'm rooting for him, Go Latrell, baby.
And we do have awful news to announce here. And whenever we get this type of news, it's never easy coming from the world of football. And whether it's college or pros, people always feel some type of way when this stuff does happen. But J-Lo, former Alabama defensive back at 19 years old, Terrence Howard, was tragically killed in a car accident. It seems the news is just coming out. So just terrible what happened. And it does seem like Terrence Howard has passed away this weekend due to a car accident. So rest in peace to former Alabama defensive back, 19 years young, Terrence Howard. Never easy dealing with this stuff in the world of football.
Unfortunately, no, man. I mean, unfortunately, life is very short at times, and my prayers and condolences goes out to his family and the football program that are affected by this. It's such a young age to go, and at the end of the day, like I said, my condolences, man. R.I.P.
Bud Cannibalist says, would like more depth at left guard. Richard says, damn, rest in peace. Yeah, it is sad. Rest in peace there. But J-Lo, left guard, I'm actually okay. I think our left guard is fine. And you could sign a guy, maybe, sure. But I think Jason Light prepared this team the best he could for what was given to him between draft, UDFA pool, and free agents. And I think with the edge rusher, I know Yaya Diaby went down and some people were freaking out, but it's not his fault Randy Gregory didn't show up. He had a backup plan. Randy Gregory signed. And now, at least, thank goodness, Yaya's injury isn't significant. But Jason Light tried to bolster the edge by giving us Randy Gregory, by drafting Chris Braswell, by signing a couple of UDFAs. And he did the same at the guard spot offensively. He drafted Graham Barton, so some of our center depth could be shed to left guard if needed. And then he signed Opeta in free agency. He went down for the year. He signed Bredesen in free agency. And he drafted Eli Klein. So Jason Light, J-Lo, I call them J-Light, J-Lo. He did load up our offensive guard room seemingly to at least help us in this sort of situation.
Yeah, it's very unfortunate for Sua Opeta. I think he would have gave a great battle with Bredesen. So it looks like it's Bredesen's job to lose, for the most part. But I heard Bredesen's been looking pretty good at the left guard position. And let me put it into this right now with the Connor Williams talk. The man wants to play center. He does not want to play guard. His agent made it known. So for some of these Bucs fans that want to go out there and go in fantasy land and say, yeah, bring him in, it'd be great depth. Barton is the center. We're not moving him to guard. It's not going to happen. So let's just accept the fact that this is what our line is going to look like, and let's root for that. Connor Williams is probably going to go to another team and be a center, which is fine. But I'm putting it into that right now, that he's not going to come here and change positions. That's just my opinion on that. And as far as Yaya Diaby goes, he's just a freak of nature, man. What a freak, man. I mean, be carted off and he only had a high ankle sprain, hallelujah. let me tell you, we're gonna need Yaya this coming season.
And guess who was at Chiefs practice today? That's kind of epic. Former Buccaneers head coach John Gruden was actually at Chiefs practice today, helping out the Chiefs, Andy Reid and company. And they were staff mates together in the mid 90s, I believe. And he had all Chiefs stuff on. So maybe that's a sign of things to come. He was helping out the Saints a little bit. You never know. Maybe he goes over to Kansas City. But J-Lo, blast from the past, John Gruden is helping out the Kansas City Chiefs at practice.
Oh, it's always good to see him, involved. I always liked him. I know some people get their own opinions on him, which is fine. And especially that he's not helping the Saints anymore. He's helping the Chiefs, which, I'd rather have him do that, than go to the Saints. But it's always good to see him still active, still interested in the game. I know he had his ups and downs as a head coach, but I always enjoyed, him here as our head coach.
I agree with that. We get more comments. We get Tribal Chief JC Allen of Sports Illustrated saying, acknowledge me. You get J-Lo, Bud, and Christopher Cole acknowledging JC Allen. We also get Christopher's concern, offensive tackle depth. I'm not really concerned too much here because Brandon Walton has been in the system for a while now. And the hope is with backup O-lineman, you would never need him for an extended period of time. So I would be confident as Richard joins acknowledging JC as well, but I'd be confident with Brandon Walton playing a game or two if needed. And then on the other side, Justin School, he's been here a while. You still got Lawrence Metz, a big guy. J-Lo, have you seen any Lawrence Metz pictures? This guy's a massive man. He makes other O-linemen look like he's half their damn size. I mean, this guy is huge. It looks like he's a giraffe out there. It's crazy.
I believe they've been comparing him to like a DeMar Dotson, big-sized guy. Can probably play the right tackle position better than going left. I mean, hopefully he makes the team. Because I'm hearing School's struggling a little bit. Hopefully, God forbid, our tackles go down. He has to step in there. But for the most part, I think we're pretty good depth right now, especially Robert Hainsey being really experienced, playing guard, center. He can go play tackle if he had to, God forbid. But I think we'll be fine at depth-wise. Maybe we're bringing another, veteran guard in there if they don't feel comfortable going with the young talent we have. As far as edge,
real quick to Bud's point, I'd be more comfortable with Hainsey than Klein as backup left guard. Well, the Bucs won it, and I'm going to say this for multiple reasons. The Bucs love having a backup center now. They're to stay familiar with the position through and through. You've seen what happened to Jensen the past 2 off seasons. Once that happened, once Jensen suffered back-to-back season-ending injuries, the Bucs struggled to replace him the first year because Hainsey wasn't a center at the time. You had Nick Leverett getting some snaps in. The Bucs were like, what the hell do we do? Hainsey ended up transitioning to that center role. And really now on, J-Lo, I don't think they're going to mess around with Hainsey at the guard spots because if you remember, when Hainsey was center, remember everybody was crying for Leverett to move to guard? No, they kept him at backup center just in case Hainsey got hurt and went down. The Buccaneers had a familiar backup there. And then you would get, Hainsey now is kind of your locked in at backup center. I really don't think the Bucs want to move him around anywhere at this point. I think they're here to keep him at center.
No, I agreed. I think right now he's a backup center, but if injuries keep happening, for the most part, I can definitely see them possibly attempting to, but I think they've been working the rookie Klein on, transitioning on both sides, between left and right guard. So I think we'll be fine. Klein has to come in. I'm fine with it. We went in with Cody Mock last year at rookie. We're going in with Graham Barton as a rookie at center. I mean, I'm all for it. I mean, like I said, I'm not worried about the depth. I mean, a Petto going down is tragic, but for the most part, I think the starting 5 we got is going to be fine. I think the depth behind them will be fine. And Hainsey is probably the best backup, probably in the league. I mean, he's probably the best backup center. I mean, if you ask me, because any other team probably would love to have Robert Hainsey in as a backup center because, like I said, injuries happen.
Yeah, I remember some people wanted to try and trade him this year. I'm so glad we didn't. So great. And JC Allen agrees with me saying the Bucs do like to keep a dedicated backup center. And it's also interesting. Neil says, well, probably bring in someone after the first round of roster cuts. Yeah, you never know. Bucks do always dip their toes into that pool. Walton would be first in at guard. Intriguing to me, and he says they would not feel comfortable having Klein going over someone like Walton at this point, at least. And to me, that shows a lot for two reasons, because J.C. Allen was really high on Klein coming out of the draft, so that puts a good statement on Walton. And I like Walton as well because J-Lo, he reminds me of the Earl Watford or Josh Wells type of lineman, where it's like, hey, you need to fill in a tackle, you need to fill in at guard, you could play anywhere, and we'll really be happy at that now.
No, I couldn't agree more. Like I said, Walton is a good utility guy. Like you mentioned, he's been in the system for about good 3-4 seasons. So, like I said, I mean, I think we got the right guys as far as depth wise. And Walton can go play guard, he can play tackle, and that's something you would like to have on your roster as a backup for sure.
Yeah, and again, JC making it known the Bucks do keep a dedicated center. JC's right. They do happen at one time. I think Neil more so means, I could be wrong, but making one of those September moves, where you scoop a guy right before the season and see what happens there. But yeah, we'll see. What happens. As Bud Cannibalist says, Klein just needs work, not quite. Yeah, and I mean, when we drafted him, we knew he wouldn't be ready, right? Smaller school offensive lineman, although he ranked very high in certain aspects last year, definitely raw at others. So agree with you. And JC Allen, I think, is out of the building. Hey, thanks for joining us, Sports Illustrated Zone. JC Allen, always incredible, whether it's through the chat or on screen, to get JC's time. And J-Lo, he's really, really making a name for himself in this Buccaneers media, in the world of football. And honestly, it's only been a couple of years now, but I couldn't imagine the landscape of this Bucs team even getting covered, that is, without the likes of JC Allen. I mean, really a pro's pro. To me, the best in the business, and we got some great ones. Greg Allman, really good guy. Pewter Report produces some good content as well. But without JC Allen, this Bucs media room, this Bucs media landscape would feel not only not as up to par, but just not as adequate as well.
Nah, JC Allen's been crushing it since the moment he's been down here, especially from a guy coming all the way from up north. He's a big Patriot guy. I mean, I always appreciate what he provides out there. I learned from him as well whenever I watch his pod, by the way, which is Pirate Parlay. He's crushing it over there. I mean, like I said, thank God for a guy like JC Allen, taking the time, talking with the fans, because he does also space once in a while on Twitter, talking with the fans, opening the questions, those are the type of people you will want to be behind and read his stuff, watch his pods, because he takes that time to talk with the fans, and that's what I like.
I like that a lot as well. And J-Lo, if you could pick one of these games to look out for the most coming into preseason week 1, well, week 2 if you count the Hall of Fame game, but the first week where everybody plays. Thursday night, you got the Lions and Giants at 7 Eastern. You got Panthers and Patriots at 7 Eastern. If you could choose to tune into one of those games for preseason week one, which are you choosing?
I have to say Lions and Giants. I think the Panthers are going to be boring to watch because I don't care for their players and their roster. Patriots, they kind of remind me of us back in the day. That long drought of not making the playoffs, having bad teams. That's what the Patriots remind me of right now at this point. So give me the Giants and the Lions.
Yeah, and J-Lo, another thing as well, preseason is cool in my aspect is we're going to only talk about preseason a little bit longer here, because if you guys missed it, we will be live again Tuesday night and then Saturday morning. Tuesday night, we'll be back here keeping you up to date with all the Buck stuff, the latest and greatest, and all that good stuff. And then Saturday morning, we'll be with you bright and early for our Bucs Bengals game day preview for preseason week 1. But looking around a little bit, J-Lo, one of the reasons why I love preseason, and it's going to continue to collapse and decrease and become more non-existent, but while we have it, we might as well talk about it. Games are at any time, any day between Thursday through Monday. You really get a lot of different games and potential games here in the preseason.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, football's football at this point. I mean, I don't care if the backups are really playing or not. You know, I enjoy watching the Hall of Fame game. Kind of hype me up, getting me pumped for our game coming up on Saturday. You know, for the most part. And plus, it's fun to watch these other rookies. You know, trying to make the roster,
I
watch
mean,
them
we
back it
get
out.
10 o'clock Eastern kickoffs on Friday and Saturday nights. I know it's preseason, but man, that's just awesome having football on at like midnight, 1 a.m.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, I mean, some fans don't like watching the backup and stuff, but I'll watch them. I'll watch them go out there and ball out. And plus, it's kind of me scouting a little bit in case one of these people that are probably gonna be off that team's roster, bring them over here and put them on the practice squad. Maybe we can do help coach them better. I mean, that's the way I look at it. And plus, studying our division opponents except for Carolina because they're boring to me. But looking at the Atlanta Falcons, the Saints looking at their backups.
I know you just tore down your Dave Canales poster, so we won't go into that too much, but
The fact that Davy Boy and the USA Today got voted, more favorable than Todd Bowles is a fucking joke.
pathetic, stupid.
Fucking joke.
Bowles has made the playoffs back-to-back years as a head coach, and I know sometimes it might have been ugly and whatnot, but that's just stupid, asinine, pathetic, and everything under the sun that Todd Bowles continues to get this much hate, and I'm glad you brought up Todd Bowles because that is our next subject of topic here. J-Lo, Coach Bowles, all the reporters, the media, they're saying he has a different stigma to him this year. He feels cool, calm, and collected. He feels like, he really has a grasp on the locker room in a good way. That's refreshing to hear. It seems like the players always love Todd Bowles, and now it seems like they even have a whole nother level of refound respect for him, and deservingly so. Last year, you had a lot of media, a lot of fans saying, hey, this guy's got to go. This guy's got to go. What the hell did Todd Bowles do? He not only got his team into the playoffs, but he won a playoff game, or he helped this team win a playoff game, I should say.
And plus, taking to Detroit. I mean, we were a drive away from tying the football game going into overtime. I mean, these players love Todd Bowles. I mean, you saw Tristan Wirfs after he signed his big contract. Congrats. Went up to Todd Bowles before practice and gave him a big hug. That tells you the kind of relationship he has with these players. To me, he's a good coach. I feel like he's got a good grip of the locker room, much better than we had in the past. I could throw a few names out there we all know, but for the most part, Todd Bowles has definitely improved a lot from the last couple of seasons of him coaching, and I feel like this year he's going to be building up to more competing for a championship. That's what I look about Todd Bowles.
Yeah, and we got Big Ed Rabasa joining us live on Facebook as well. But go on, J-Lo, about Todd Bowles.
I just feel more comfortable with Bowles now than I did 2 years ago. I feel comfortable that he's got his staff in line. He's got the players he wants. He seems very, motivated and seems like he's ready to go out there and go prove the doubters wrong and coach these boys up and win a championship.
Yeah, I agree with you wholeheartedly there. And Todd Bowles is definitely ready to roll this year. I really believe that. And I really think he's going to have a great year this year. Speaking of great year this year, Bud says Wirfs every penny. Quick thoughts, J-Lo, on the whole Wirfs thing. I think it's great. And some people say, oh, a lot of money. I think it's worth it all. Incredible, incredible offensive line.
25 years old, young. He's got a lot of football left in him. To me, the best tackle in the NFL right now. I don't care about Trent Williams or Penny Sewell. I don't give a crap about any of those guys. But Tristan Wirfs, he's worth every penny. From going from right tackle, where he was all pro, to switch over to left tackle and play pretty damn well, the sky's the limit for that kid. And I'm so happy for him. And like I said, it was going to happen. I mean, he was going to be resigned, like made it known he wasn't going anywhere. And he made it known he wasn't going anywhere. It's just, unfortunately, it comes down to, pennies, dollars, years, and all that stuff. But now he's locked in, and hopefully he'll be a Buck for life, and we'll sign to another long-term extension in the future.
Yeah, definitely. And between him and Winfield in the same draft class, man, that's some incredible stuff. That's some high-end stuff. I don't know if those two, will ever be challenged as a top 2 pick draft class in Jason Light's history.
Not at all, no. So far, not even close. I mean, Light has had a good couple of drafts, between this past offseason and last offseason. I mean, Light is just, to me, he's moved from good GM to elite. To me, I feel like he's an elite GM between the draft and some of these talent he's brought in and keeping the team together. So that's my opinion on Jason Light.
I agree with that as well. And Jason Light will be watching this Saturday as the Bucs do take the field for the first time. Although it's preseason, we have Buccaneers football this Saturday, a measly 6 days away. Saturday, August 10th, 7 o'clock Eastern, Bucs at Bengals. J-Lo, if you had one thing to keep your eye on, because we are going to dig more into this game as the week goes on. I have a couple shows left here, so we don't need a huge take. But if you had one thing of interest for this Bucs Bengals game, what say you?
I'm really interested to see Chris Braswell, because pretty much he's going to start the game on the other side of JTS. I'm looking forward to see what he does. I know he's going to be pretty hyped going in there and making a case for himself for why he should start, in case, God forbid, Yaya doesn't come back right away. But I'm looking forward to him. I'm looking forward to Bucky Irving on the offense side of the ball. I'm looking forward to see how he carries the ball and all that. And plus Liam Cohen. I'm looking forward to see his play calling and see what he brings to the table compared to Davey Boy last year.
Yeah, definitely. And Christopher comments on Dave, hey, we get to watch his offense Thursday, ready for a first down run up the middle. I'm intrigued to see how the Bucs shape their front seven, who ends up making it depth-wise, who ends up being the odd man out, defensive line-wise. I hope our guy CJ Brewer ends up getting on the roster. And then linebacker-wise, as we talked, will it be Deloach, JJ, KJ, who may it be offensive line? But I'm really looking forward to the roster battles. And Bud's right, Logan Hall had an INT. He got it off Trask, and our friend of the show, Dr. Pless, he was like, holy shit, he was stunned a little bit, J-Lo.
I know, it's his favorite player, man. That's the first person I thought of when he got that pick. I'm like, oh, Dr. Pless, I know you're watching. Especially if he was there live. I love it.
Yeah, he was like, damn, did that really just happen? That really just happened. Other than that, J-Lo, I think we touched base on anything. Any final word, or what say you for the rest of this weekend? Any final words or thoughts here for the Buccaneers?
Just trying to get through this weather, because I guess tropical storm was going to be paying us a little visit sometime today, which is fine, whatever. They don't fear us. But for the most part, fans, we're getting closer. I'm excited. Hopefully everyone stays healthy, and we'll see who plays or not. Either way, I'm excited to see any Buccaneer player play. I'm excited to see Trask go out there, send the ball a little bit. I know we'll see the rookies for sure. As far as Baker, Mike, and all that, we'll see. I mean, if they don't play them, I'm fine with that. I'd rather have them healthy for the upcoming season. Yeah,
I agree with that. Couldn't agree more, that's for sure. We are here on the Buccaneers, and we will be back Tuesday night about 6 o'clock, 6:15 Eastern, exact time to be announced. Christopher says Judge Culpepper is going to make the team. That would be pretty incredible to get, Judge Culpepper when his dad was a Buccaneer, if he could end up making the team. And these roster battles are always interesting to keep eyes on, J-Lo.
Absolutely. And plus, it's a badass name. I would love to see Judge make the roster. But we'll see. I mean, he could be a practice squad and make his way onto the roster in the season. We'll see. I feel like we got a bunch of good camp battles for the preseason. It's going to be fun to watch. And if you're a real football fan, that's what you live for. You want to watch these young kids battle it out and try to make the roster and get us more excited for the upcoming season.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. We are very amped here on the Buccaneers looking into the season, and we have some late news as well. Panthers second-round pick, rookie running back Jonathan Brooks will not play during the preseason and unlikely to make his NFL debut until week 4 of the regular season. So not good stuff there for the Panthers. Their second-round pick might not even be making his debut till season game number 4 in the regular season. So other than that, everybody, it was a beautiful show. It was awesome. And as Christopher Cole says, just stay healthy. Hey, we got a Californian in the room. That is incredible. Ben Parrish, great guys, great show, guys, listening from Cali.
Thank you, sir.
We have Canada viewers, Cali viewers, Florida viewers, Chicago viewers. It's incredible. Europe viewers we get as well. Tobias is a Europe viewer. So incredible stuff there. But J-Lo, On this last Sunday without football until February. Yes, you heard us right. Last Sunday without football between college or NFL until February. We are blessed here, my friend. You enjoy your Sunday. Hope all is well, and attack the day. Go Bucs! Go Bucs! Fire the damn cannons! Go Bucs!
Sir, go Bucs.
Game on Sunday, man. I know you're nervous for the Rams, but you got to be a little enthusiastic after being there.
Bro, that game atmosphere was ridiculous. The energy, the electricity. That place was rocking. Anyone was there, and a lot of the Super Buck fans were there too. Mean Buck.
Tampa Tones. We are joined by lead goon tonight, host of the Pat and Aaron Show of WDAE, Pat Donovan. And it sounds like Stunna is bumbling a little bit. Going to put him on mute for a second until that gets a little clear. But we're joined by Pat
It looks like
Donovan.
Stunna's hanging out with Cheech and Chong in a car with the windows up or something over there.
It does look like we got a little...
No, my